about the user-activated soft fork, though I will mention it again later in the video when I have more viewers. So let's just jump right into the market. Oh yeah, I may also be canceling my travel schedule. I was gonna go traveling this summer to a lot of events, a lot of Bitcoin things going on around the world. But once again, the user-activated soft fork is way more important than anything that's going on. This is also why when prominent people are sending me their ideas and white papers, I'm basically telling them, you know what, if it's not Bitcoin related, it's completely not important to me. I understand it may be important to others, but to me, the most important thing is making sure that Bitcoin is successful going forward. But of course, there is a website. This is from another one is by Jimmy Song, talking about the user-activated soft fork. Though I will mention it again later in the video when I have more viewers. So let's just jump right into the market. Oh yeah, I may also be canceling my travel schedule. I was gonna go traveling this summer to a lot of events, a lot of Bitcoin things going on around the world. But once again, the user-activated soft fork is way more important than anything that's going on. This is also why when prominent people are sending me their ideas and white papers, I'm basically telling them, you know what, if it's not Bitcoin related, it's completely not important to me. I understand it may be important to others, but to me, the most important thing is making sure that Bitcoin is successful going forward. But I will point you to 3 articles that I recommend you read if you are curious about the future of Bitcoin. One of them is by Luke Dash Jr. It explains what BIP 148 is. Another one is by Jimmy Song, which explains what user-activated soft fork is, UASF, and skin in the game. He has posted another article since then, basically talking about how Bitcoin will most likely fork, but I don't want to get into that quite yet. And of course, there is a website. This is from, I thought it was something else, but Reuse Coins. So I guess this is Trace Mayer's initiative to educate people about BIP 148. I'll probably...
Dude, what the fuck?
All right, let's
You're each other's team.
I'll
Stop
mention
shooting
those
each other
again later on, because right now I have about 150 live viewers, and these videos get close to 300 live viewers when I get around the Bitcoin part. Let's briefly talk about the stock market. It was a weird day today. It was up and down. I am fully bullish the stock market. I am fully committed to the stock market. The sell in May and go away did not really do much. So is it time to take on a bullish trade in the market? Probably. Again, I have always been bullish the stock market. There is absolutely nothing in the stock market from a technical perspective that even suggests that prices are going to go down. We're about to form another 9, and then we'll be off for a 13 count. I'm not sure why I'm not counting. Oh, because it failed. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not taking it on, but generally, I'm just bullish the stock market. Against flat line. Every time the market is flat, you have these boxes that I draw, and that just means it's going higher. You get this one weird day on some crazy news, and then it recovers, and then it goes to a new high. Just like shakes out those that entered at a bad time. And I mean, I was shaken out of this one, so that's why I haven't participated. And that's what happens. Market goes up and no one participates in it. People finally buy, it drops, everyone gets scared, gets knocked out, it goes up again. I mean, you really gotta buy the dip in the stock.
6-0. Motherfucker.
Weekly chart also looks clean, just broke above the previous high. I mean, that's my target, right? That's my near-term target at about
What up?
2,600 on
Yo,
the
yo.
S&P. My ultimate target on the S&P before any kind of major stock market correction is probably above 3,000, maybe even 4,000. Like I'm unreasonably bullish the stock market, guys. Unreasonably bullish. I mean, I'm thinking Dow 75,000. I talked about why in other videos, but here's gold. Gold is the strange one, right? Because the stock market going up usually means gold's going to go down. We had this bullish ascending triangle, which points to a target right here. Now, I wouldn't touch gold at this moment either, neither the daily chart nor the weekly chart. The daily chart is saying bullish, and if we can get above this gray line, then I'm going to be bullish, and I might actually buy gold, do a gold trade. But the reason why I'm not bullish is because the weekly chart is once again the declining trend line, which should send gold down. I would want to see gold rise above the trend line and then above this prior high in the vicinity of 1290, 1300. If we can get above 1300, then and only then will I be bullish gold. Until then, I'm expecting the trend line to continue to repel us to the downside. So daily chart, slightly bullish. Weekly chart, slightly bearish. If price gets above 1300, then both daily and bullish and weekly will both move bullish. I've been bearish oil now for a little while, and it's in the middle of nowhere. But technically, it's making lower highs and lower lows, so we can potentially draw a bit of a channel. Right? I mean, it may be difficult to draw, but...
Oh shit, here we go. Fuck, dude, I was around that goddamn corner.
Let's see if we can stay in that channel. And I'm generally bearish oil, mostly because, I mean, technology is advancing and the global economy is kind of slowing down. Hey, so when I say stocks are going to go up in price, don't confuse stocks going up as me expecting a huge, robust economy. I think the economy is going to be okay. Nothing spectacular. I mean, maybe if drones, private drones are allowed to be developed and driving cars aren't being hindered by regulation and, you know, robots in your home aren't being hindered by regulation. Governments aren't stupidly trying to attach robots to Social Security, just like they do humans. If these things don't happen, then yeah, we could have a robust economy. But most likely, it'll just be safety. People just trust stocks better than they trust bonds. I really should talk about bonds. The European Union is doing something stupid. They're basically recreating the dot-com prices by packaging government bonds the way the U.S. packaged subprime mortgages and then selling those in tranches. So now the European government is going to do the same thing with their government debt, which is completely ridiculous, but it may give it a boost for like a year or two. So let's save this. So speaking of which, oh, what happened to my euro chart? Did I close it by accident? Oh, I closed the euro chart. Let me open that. Alright, so while that's opening. So I'm still generally bullish the pound over the euro, though right now euro's on a bounce.
Behind you!
And I talked about that in previous videos, between Merkel probably getting re-elected and Macron winning in France, and then coming up with some insane metrics in order to, you know, continue to sell garbage debt to countries like Greece and Spain and Portugal and Italy. they're gonna put it into tranches. So the euro has been rebounding, and these arrows have been there since I think last week. And at this point, I am looking for the euro to have a more sustained dead cat bounce. But don't get me wrong, it's still a dead cat bounce. The euro as a as a movement is in serious trouble.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. Looks like Richie Rich is back. If I'm lucky, he will compile questions for me so I can get to your questions. I'm trying to keep the analysis part to 20 minutes and then spending, 40 minutes on your Q&A. We'll try and keep this video to an hour as well. All right, here's Bitcoin. So last week's candle was worrisome because of this long wick coming in from the top. Whenever we have these long wicks, like look back at 2013, you can look at 2013, also in April. Whenever we have these long wicks from the top, like here was a bad long wick back in January, and then the next week was horrendous. Whenever we have these long wicks, it tends to be trouble. But this week so far is shaping up to be pretty good. So let's see how this week ends. Bitcoin is in a very, very fragile position at the moment. Mostly because of the user-activated soft fork or the UASF. As mentioned earlier in this video, I will not talk much about UASF today. I will save that for my weekend video, where I will spend. Well, I still need to think about it, right? I mean, it's this is going to be huge. The user-activated soft fork will be the biggest test the Bitcoin economy has ever faced, and it's coming in August, which is, in a way, very ironic because back in August of 2014, I wrote an article saying that August 2017 will be the most important in the life of Bitcoin's, past, present, and future. I wrote this almost 3 years ago. It'll be exactly 3 years when user-activated soft fork goes into effect. Now, I was very, very specific. I actually pointed to August 14th, 2017 as the most critical day in the life of Bitcoin. I still don't know what August 14th represents. We do know what August 1st represents, and that's the activation of the user-activated soft fork. And it's too early to tell. And I also need to double check my math.
This?
I mean, this math was 3 years old, and I did it kind of tongue-in-cheek, thinking that what I was doing astrology and complete and utter bullshit. And it turns out this wasn't really the case. My major event for 2017.62 may actually come to fruition, and it's still not clear what it means for the price of Bitcoin. And these are the kinds of things I actually need time to think about. So I need to disconnect from all of the distractions and actually think about what the user-activated soft fork means economically, price-wise, and in general, and how far do I want to go supporting it, right? Because there is a risk involved in supporting the user-activated soft fork. In case it doesn't work, those that were supporting it, will somewhat be blamed for Bitcoin's issues. So some risks are worth it and some are not. And I still need a little more time to fully understand what I'm getting into before I
this
fully
map's a little
support
glitchy.
the user activated. But I will make my decision soon. I'll probably make my decision this week
I don't
because
know if
I'm
it's
also not going to wait till the very end.
Yo, are you
and,
guys
you know,
getting like
wait to
real
pick
twitchiness?
who the winners and losers are and then join the bandwagon. I'm usually at the front of this. I'm just a little bit behind on a lot of things, mostly because just, you know, so busy and a lot of new people coming in. Everybody wants Bitcoin explained to them, even like my own friends that didn't listen to back then.
That shit.
What about my friends that just bought a couple of Bitcoins? Now I need to explain to them what the user activated swap fork means. Like, there's a lot of responsibility.
I like the
when
detail
you're
in this
always,
map, but shit,
you know, in front of the camera and making
smooth.
videos and speaking in public, it does come with a lot of responsibility and a lot of trolls, which I may talk about a little bit later.
Can't properly
But
lean
anyway,
over the edge.
let's get back to the Bitcoin price. So we now have Bitcoin going up, and the weekly chart still looks strong. It would look incredibly strong if we can close the week near the top of this wick. And that is actually asking a lot, because the price of Bitcoin got way out of control here. It got way further, way faster than even I expected. I thought the top of the channel would hold it up because it went so far up. I then expected the top of the channel to bounce the price. So most likely we will be starting to form a symmetric triangle here, as a Bitcoin gonna, you know, people are gonna be scared. I mean, the euphoria into Bitcoin is still strong because people don't understand the danger in the user-activated swap fork. Now, this danger is not scaring me to sell my Bitcoin. However, it is something to fully understand so that you're prepared for, you know, for the outcomes, and you're prepared for the consequences of what can happen. Again, the biggest problems in all markets is not knowing, understanding and knowing what's going on with clarity. The more clarity a market has, the more transparency a market has, the more efficient the price discovery, and the better it is. This is why the moment ASIC Boost Revelations came out, I was the biggest Bitcoin bull, because to me, ASIC Boost provided clarity as to why Bitmain has been stalling on activating SegWit, and they stole too much, and now the community has rebelled against them, and we're now activating the user-activated software. And again, I'll talk way more about it this weekend. I'll specifically make that the point of my video. Okay. So here is Bitfinex. Now Bitfinex is now trading over $100 below Bitcoin. This is crazy. I mean, Bitfinex was the one trading over $100 above Bitstamp earlier. What I should actually do is I should open my comparison chart. Like here, the Bitfinex versus Bitstamp ratio. I mean, this was completely crazy. And I'll probably start tweeting this out again. I mean, look how it flipped. My God. I mean, this is insane.
Oh, I got my ears in.
This is just insane. It got up to 10% above, and now it's about to get to 10% below. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay. Alright, here's the hourly chart. So I tweeted out the other day, I think yesterday, that this cup and handle should break to the upside, and then we go up, you know, about 300 points all the way to 2,500. This is Bitfinex, right? So 2,500 on Bitfinex would be like 2,600 and above on Bitstamp. And we started to break out, and then last night I saw it going down, and I personally started getting nervous. And but then I went to bed, hoping everything would be okay, and it kind of was. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. If Bitcoin starts making new lows,
dude, it bugs
it will make me a little nervous.
Thank you.
It will make me nervous about the technology. but it will make me nervous about the price. And I'm willing to hold to the price.
Way too
David,
much
this
shit in the
is the-
chat. Blacking out.
This is what people really need to understand.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm blacking out as well.
Technology is solid.
It's really
Bitcoin
laggy.
technology is
I like all the
solid because we
angles,
have
man.
a
That's
Bitcoin
real
core
difficult to deal with.
and a subset of Bitcoin
What's
core,
that?
Blockstream. These people are true
Super laggy for me.
cryptographic
Everything's twitchy.
scientists.
When you go from this and onward,
Something that I believe Ethereum
it's
doesn't
like
have. Okay.
you get into
If
this,
there is
you know,
anybody
like run
smart
fast,
left
you know,
programming
mode.
Ethereum, my advice to them is immediately get the hell out of there, because when that bubble crashes and the value of the coin drops, they will potentially be blamed. If those people have already sold their Ethereum and they make it public that they've sold their Ethereum as the insiders of Ethereum, they will be blamed even more. What happened to Jamie when he informed that he sold a bunch of his coins will be nothing in comparison to what will happen to the top brass of Ethereum. Because Ethereum is a corporation. It's not like a corporation. Ethereum is not really a decentralized network. That was proven with the DAO and the reversal of transactions, and that split the coin into two. So I don't believe that Bitcoin will split into two, and if it does, it'll be very short-lived. Of course, those were the famous last words of the Ethereum developers. So there is some caution there, and I'll talk about this. You know, the reality. So to me, Ethereum is not sound. To me, Ethereum is like I still have 2 more episodes of 50% Ethereum to do, and I'll still try to get through one of them sometime this week, probably next week. Kind of more depends on my guest than me at this point, so I'm not even ready to shoot it yet. I still need to do a little more research on that part.
Shit.
To me, Ethereum is not sound technologically, and it's difficult for me to say that because I'm not technologically confident enough to analyze that. But I trust other people to analyze the technology, and I trust their opinion that Ethereum is technologically sound. Now, I know that
Goddamn.
Ethereum is not economically sound because economics is more of my domain. And the token, the Ethereum token is not economically sound. On top of that, the token was created and sold as an illegal security sale, which I still believe will get the majority of the people involved in Ethereum in handcuffs sooner or later. Feels like sooner than feels like later than sooner, and I don't want that for anyone. But I warned everyone of this as Ethereum was launching, though very few people were listening to me back then as opposed to now. And I say the same thing to anyone doing an ICO. I would never be a part of an ICO. I mean, buying an ICO isn't like illegal, but to me it's immoral, so I will never actually buy an ICO. But anyway, so one of the very frustrating things at the moment is the fact that people are now constantly texting and saying, hey, so Ethereum is now over like $250. Have you changed your mind on Ethereum? And the answer is no. Why would I change my mind on Ethereum? It's no different than someone texting me and saying, hey, Tone, so Bernie Madoff has just made me tens of millions of dollars, even hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh my God.
Have you changed your mind on it being a Ponzi scheme? And the answer would be no. Of course, you know, people didn't really know even what a Ponzi scheme was supposed to be. The valuation of Ethereum is irrelevant to the 3 points that I just mentioned earlier. Anyway, so I don't want to repeat myself. So the valuation, the price valuation is irrelevant. Now, Bitcoin, on the other hand, I believe is sound technology, which is why when the price of Bitcoin fell from $1,300 down to $150, right? That was a 90% devalue crash in the price of Bitcoin, but the technology was always sound, so I was never really worried. So everything else trying to limit Bitcoin and promise me the moon, when their price crashes that far, let's see how sound the technology actually is. And in their cases, it might actually crash because of the flaws in that technology. Alright, back to the hourly chart of Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin is a little bit fragile right now, and because the hourly chart is displaying bubble patterns, okay? So, because it went up too fast, so that is interesting. Because it went up too fast, it's now displaying bubble patterns. More specifically, and I know this is now going on a little too long, I do want to get to your questions as well. Just went off on a tangent about Ethereum. Alright, where's my bubble chart?
Fuck. Oh!
Here we go. So, we went up and then we crashed, and now we've returned to normal. So, in a way, Bitcoin is sitting right here, potentially. You don't know you're sitting there until you cross this line. And you start to fall quickly. So you don't know that it's this, or oops. You don't know if you're there or here. Like you don't know if it's a bull trap or a bear trap until either the low is taken out, or the high is taken out. We just don't know. Nobody does. Okay, if anyone knows, they're guessing. Okay? So right now we're in a position where is this the dead cat bounce from the bubble and we go to the bottom of the channel, or God forbid, lower? Or are we about to break out and make a new high, or are we just gonna get stuck here for a while? Look, nobody knows. All we can do is keep an eye on the hourly, and I'm keeping a very close eye.
Yo, different map.
We've now made a second lower low,
Different map.
and we've now duplicated the high. I know this is Bitfinex, but Bitstamp looks the same, I promise you guys.
Data center? Data center, I'm all good.
If we can take out this high from yesterday of 2250, it's going to be a very bullish sign. And then we would need to get to this target. Now, also, remember, on that big bubble, here's the mini bubble, right? We fell, we recovered, and then we took out the low. Now, we can say that the low is the closing hourly low, or the low is the intra-hourly low. I personally don't like intra-hourly lows. I find them to be very... I find them to be weird. I try not to even look at the intraday low, but they're more important. I definitely couldn't care less about the intra-hour low. I want to see where the hour closed. So this was that return to range, and then we took it out and we fell really quickly. But these are fractals, and on a big scale, we're looking at the same thing, but we don't know if it's over yet. We really don't. And the user-activated soft fork is not going to make this any easier. It's going to make all of these decisions harder, and it's going to make people have very, very... it will give them very different decisions, put it out. Okay, on pulling the trigger on buying and selling. So, if we fall below last night's low, I will start to get nervous. If we fall below 2 days ago low, I will get more nervous. And if we fall below the low from the 27th, I will just get nervous. Okay? I'm not going to be selling my Bitcoin. Not yet. but I will be bracing myself for a bigger color correction. Hopefully the bottom of my green channel will hold it, and the bottom of the green channel currently stands at around 1750. Okay? If it falls quickly. If it falls slowly, the bottom of the green channel is going to be around 1800. Okay? But that would create a double bottom, which would make me even more nervous. Okay? I don't want to see these things. So, that means... So that means that... Well, one second, guys. So that means that if we start taking them out, I'm looking down to 1800. Okay? And if we start to go back up, I will be a lot less nervous once we get into this double top here. Now, this double top will let me breathe a little bit easier, mostly because you don't get two good chances to exit, right? I mean, this was your second chance to exit. And if we go back here, so that means I would be comfortable that we're going up. Now this should all happen long before the user activated software. And there's about to be a lot of noise over the user activated software. The community has not yet absorbed the information and the consequences of the user activated software. I know this for a fact because I haven't absorbed all of the information and the consequences of the user activated software. And now that I have almost 400 live viewers and 5,000+ people watching my videos, I will be contributing to the understanding of the user activated soft fork, especially as it applies to the price. And I need to be real careful in what I say and how I say it. And that's why I'm not talking about it today, and I will talk about it over the weekend in my next video, because this is on my to-do to actually understand it. All right. On that note, I think I'm pretty much done. Now that I have my maximum live viewers, I will mention real quick 3 I guess, articles that I really enjoyed reading, and one of them I haven't even finished reading yet. One of them was Luke Dash Jr.'s BIP 148, and I'll try and throw these into the notes right after this video is over. I'll update the notes. This is one of them. Here's the other one by Jimmy Song, user activated soft fork and skin in the game, and here is from WeUseCoins.com. User activated soft fork guide, which explains it even further. This is the one I haven't fully read. I did watch the Trace Mayer interview with Jeff Berwick. I thought Trace did a fairly good job talking about user activated soft fork. I can't recommend watching the last 15 minutes of the video because they're talking about altcoins, but the user activated soft fork stuff good. Anyway, I've also been getting into a lot of Twitter fights lately with academics, which is also in a way frustrating. Let's see here. Is it yeah. So this tweet started a bit of a conflict between me and Henry Steyer, who I'm not a huge fan of. And never was, put it that way. So go ahead and check that out. Anyway, I don't want to. I want to get to your questions. Let me not. Let me not go on. The ICOs are clearly out of control. I was reminded that I needed to update my Mount Stupid chart, which I haven't updated in a while. All right. My goal of 20 minutes talking about markets clearly did not happen. And let me get to your questions. Thank you, Rich, for helping me out and compiling questions. Let's take a look. Have you heard about Veritasium? What are your thoughts on it? Okay, this is going to be very quick. Okay, so if you're watching my channel, you're clearly familiar with my YouTube channel. There's another YouTube channel called the World Crypto Network. And if you go to the World Crypto Network, I am one of the contributors of the World Crypto Network. There is a podcast on the World Crypto Network called On the Record. You can see it right here with Pivx. You can see it right here with Volturo, and you can see it right here with Veritasium. Okay. So you can also go right here on the record with Coinbase, which is it's a list. I wonder if I have one on my channel as well. I probably do. And I interviewed Reggie Middleton of Veritasium for the On the Record podcast. So you can go ahead and watch this episode, and you get my opinion on Veritasium by interviewing Reggie. My opinion on Veritasium is the same as my opinion on all ICOs. I don't like any ICOs.
You could have used a grenade.
You got me on night.
Oh, you could have used a grenade. Damn. Why can't I contact push
Reggie.
it?
Audio from Reggie.
Alright, guys, one different
Let me
map.
stop sharing screen.
I'm good.
How about
to
Sam?
do
Fine, but-
that.
Okay,
I'm
so
good to do
as you
that.
can see, I'm back in New York.
You guys want to do, I don't know, Stadium
Okay, so
or Rust?
Yeah.
my
Yes,
view on
Rust.
ICOs is
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. I don't like them.
them.
Now, some ICOs are a lot
Is it textured yet?
scammier than other ICOs. Okay? It's a huge spectrum. And a lot of my friends in the space are now ICOing their companies. And it's hard for me to, it's difficult for me to call them out on it in full. So I try to, be a little bit obscure about it. So, I don't like any ICOs.
Yeah, I guess
now,
we're
having
starting
said
this.
that, some ICOs are straight up scams, like Geonosis. Okay? I don't care about any of those people, so I can call them out. Geonosis is straight up scam. Okay? The least scammy ICO is, in my opinion, Brock Pierce's blockchain capital token. That one, again, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Oh, hey,
but
here we go.
that one is probably as legit
This map is
as
starting to look
ICOs
good.
will. Right? Everything else is in the middle, right? And by the way, Ethereum is also completely on the scam meter. Like Ethereum itself was an ICO, right? So there's certain ICOs fall right into the scammy ICO. On the scam ICO side of the spectrum, like Geonosis, like Ethereum, like many others. Okay, the rest will fall into. Now, the ICO thing is very complicated. Like the ICO itself may be a scam. If you structure your ICO in a non-scam way, the reason you're ICOing is because no one probably wants to give you money. So that means your idea is probably stupid and it's not going to work. And your valuation is way too high. Now, anytime there's an ICO, the incentive of you building a company are completely skewed, and I don't have time to get into why. Maybe on another podcast. And did you ICO on top of Ethereum? And that's a big one. And this is my problem with Brock Pierce's ICO. The ICO itself might be fine and legit and not scammy. But I believe that building any ICO on top of Ethereum, to me, is building your ICO on top of scam technology, which itself has a scam ICO. So to me, that is the problem. And Ethereum is going to fork. I have no doubt in my mind. And when that happens, it's going to be a problem, not to mention all other problems that could come to Ethereum. By the way, Ethereum transactions are now like 50 cents to $1 at a valuation of $200 a coin. So when Bitcoin was $200 a coin, Bitcoin's transaction fees were still like 5 to 10 cents. So Ethereum's blockchain is growing way faster than Bitcoin. Ethereum's transaction fees are growing way faster than Bitcoin. Ethereum is going to have 8 times, if not 100 times, more difficult scaling issues than Bitcoin ever will. And everyone is in love with Ethereum. Ethereum, to me, is a complete and utter joke. It's a joke that people have made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on. something that I had the opportunity to make as well, but I decided to call it a scam instead of throwing, a few Bitcoins at it, making me a multi-millionaire. So you can see my frustration a little bit, but I stuck to my principles, and I'm going to continue to stick to my principles. All right, let's get into some more questions. Yes, I will. Let's see what we got next. Video selection next Thursday. Wow, again, just too busy to pay attention. What's your view on the cable and the euro strength? I don't have an opinion, guys. Sorry, I'm not up to date on my European politics and economics. Again, on my to-do list this week before the weekend, so I can update you guys, but also, fully understanding user-activated software and preparing for the next Ethereum crypto scam episode. And I'm hoping to get these two things done, even without any other distractions. And I have about, 10 people side channeling me every day. And those that pay for tone-based consulting service of 0.1 Bitcoin per hour get immediate priority. Andreas Antonopoulos could be texting me, and if you're texting me at the same time, willing to pay me 0.1 Bitcoin for an hour, Andreas would wait. If you are paying me for my time, you are the priority, and those that have paid for my consulting service know that I get back to them right away. Even a little bit, even after the call, they still those that have paid for my consulting services, they kind of almost become clients going forward. And if they're side channeling me then after, even for free, they would get slightly higher priorities in me answering them than someone that has never paid for a consulting. And I talk about economics, I talk about trading, I can chart whatever you like. If you want my opinion on that. Lately people have been really curious about traditional markets and how to structure their retirement savings and things like that, because handing your money to money managers is
my bullets aren't doing shit and my aim's not good.
Okay, next question. Tone, how much do you think SegWit is priced into Bitcoin? Very tough question, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on the market's reflection. Okay, that's a good question. Time to share screen. That's a very good question. It's also very hard to answer. It's very subjective. Okay, so here's the thing. I personally believe that a lot of this run-up in May has to do with SegWit being quite thin because of all the problems with Bitcoin Unlimited. I believe SegWit is quite thin. We're getting SegWit. SegWit is guaranteed, guys. User-activated soft fork guarantees SegWit. The question now is, will there be 2 Bitcoin or not? Okay. Again, this is the kind of thing I'm going to talk about on Sunday. I know you want to hear it from me today, but user-activated soft fork is almost like a hard fork. And a hard fork is, you can't always do it, right? It's just on a different spectrum. User-activated soft fork, what's going to happen is a lot safer than the hard fork that Jihan and Roger and Bitmain and Bitcoin Unlimited wanted to do.
My bad.
But the potential to having 2 and even 3 Bitcoin in August is big. Now 3 is stretching, right? But 2 is more likely.
I'm out for a while.
You know what? Let me not speak too
Later.
soon. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there will only be 1 Bitcoin. But the risk is there. The risk is there. And I'm going to talk about this risk this weekend. It might have to make 2 videos, might have to, make a long video. So I believe that SegWit is already priced in. The question is, how smoothly is it going to go? if it's going to go smoothly, then we're good. Then Bitcoin will probably hang around 2,500 to 3,000.